I'll tell you what, an Arsenal game refereed by Michael Oliver is never far from controversy. This game was no different. Arsenal versus Wolves, guys, we're gonna get into it. What a game it was in terms of controversy, especially from an Arsenal side. And that's the main point I'm going to be picking up. The red card for Lewis-Skelly is one that has to be discussed, if I'm being honest with you. Again, we're going to go through our regular way of going through these games. Very happy that Arsenal were able to get the win against the Wolves team who are struggling in their own right. However, Arsenal have been struggling in recent games themselves and are now looking to try and build up some momentum and some form. Looking at the lineup, a back four that I was happy with: Lewis-Skelly, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber in the back four. In the midfield, Rice, Partey, and Wanyeri. Odegaard injured, wasn't fit, unsure how long he will be out for. Up front, Havertz, Martinelli, and Trossard. And so a strong team from Wolves. The likely faces you would normally see: Strand Larsen, Cunha, Gomez, Andre, Semedo, Alt Nori. So a lot of the more familiar names that you would expect to see in their team as well. Again, coming into the game, Arsenal had a lot to prove. They were coming off a difficult game in their last Premier League fixture, dropping a 2-0 lead to Aston Villa at home. Coming back to draw that game 2-2 was bitterly disappointing. I would say in the way that they performed in the beginning of the game against Wolves, it was a really positive performance. The key moments for me going through that start and initial period was firstly actually a Wolves chance. Sarabia having an opportunity to put Wolves ahead, wasn't able to take it. It was a difficult opportunity and he actually did take it pretty well. However, that was the first warning shot for Arsenal to step up their game and step it up. They did. A critical chance for Kai Havertz in the game as well was one that I think a lot of Arsenal fans would have been disappointed by. If I'm not mistaken, it this one? No, it was one in the first half. Let me see if I can find it from an XG standpoint. It was in the first 20 or so minutes. Yeah, the 24th minute. Yeah, directly in the center of the goal. Opportunity that many would have thought he had to take better. I would have liked to see him score, but it was a good save by Sarr. But that's the kind of chance that people would say that's when you need a goal scorer. That's when you need someone who's going to finish it, rather than crediting the goalkeeper for the save that he made. That was still leaving the game on a knife edge. Arsenal had a lot to play for. Wolves had a lot to play for. The game was in a fine balance, but I did feel like Arsenal had more control until we got a decisive moment from Michael Oliver, which could have and actually I think did change the course of the game in a sense. The red card to Miles Lewis-Skelly to me is one of the most ridiculous decisions I've seen from who is meant to be one of the best referees in the country. And the fact that VAR didn't step in and say that's not a red card shows that incompetence goes all the way through. And as an Arsenal fan, I've tried to, remove myself from the referee decisions. If we're not talking about this one, we're talking about the one against Brighton when Rice gets sent off, or Man City when Trossard gets sent off. Michael Oliver was involved in the one against Man City. He's been involved in this one. He was involved when Kovacic had a number of challenges which meant he should have got sent off. He wasn't. And again, it's a level of incompetence that if you're incompetent time after time after time after time, I start to think it's not incompetence. And that's where you don't want to get to as a fan. You don't want to start doubting the integrity of these referees because I'm starting to, or I have been for a long time. It's incompetence beyond belief, if I'm being honest with you. The tackle, you can call it a foul. Yes, maybe it's a foul. Yellow card at a stretch, red card, never in a million years. And it just shows that these referees are so quick to pull out their red cards in some instances and so shy to do it in other instances. But where is the consistency? It's never there. And that's the problem that the normal football fan will have with anything a referee says or does because the consistency isn't there. And especially if we pull out Michael Oliver and Arsenal and other incidents in this game, my add, Havertz was taken out in this game in what I would say is in a worse fashion than Sarabia was. I just don't see how he can make that decision and how VAR can back up their decisions. Incompetence on two different levels. And for that to be the best official that we have in the country shows the shocking, alarming levels. And it's not like the referee boards in this country are taking ownership of these errors and trying to fix it and trying to get better. No, they're trying to protect their own reputation. They're trying to keep the power that they have. They're trying to slow down the advancements in the game to make it better. Why are we still drawing lines manually for VAR? Why is it taking as long as it takes when we have automated VAR and they've delayed it for another season? It was meant to be introduced this season. Again, there's so many instances that we have where they deflect, where they try and pull one rule or another out of the rule book to justify their decisions. And it's a bit shameful, to be honest with you. It is very, very shameful. And again, not only as an Arsenal fan, a fan of football, of the Premier League, it's just not to a good level at all. Moving on from that, and it was hard to move on from that. You normally would think Arsenal would potentially collapse. We've had 10 men this season. We've given up goals to Brighton and Man City, as I've spoken about before. This time we stayed strong. I saw a different approach from Mikel Arteta. He was strong in making sure that the structure of his team was still there. They didn't drop too deep. They were defensively responsible, but attacking wise, they were not afraid to go forward. And that balance was very, very important. Unfortunately, Wanyeri did have to be sacrificed. A change in personnel with Calafiori coming on into the second half. Wolves will get themselves back into the game a little bit, but Arsenal was still a threat, no doubt about that. Wolves were creating a little bit more, gaining a little bit more of an edge, as you would expect, having that one-man advantage. However, as the game went on, Gomez would find himself getting sent off for a second yellow card, an absolutely horrible tackle. He's somebody who should have been sent off before. Again, shows the incompetence from Michael Oliver. Kicked the ball away about twice after being on a yellow card. Nothing was done. A number of shocking challenges. Nothing was done until, I guess, the straw that broke the camel's back. One tackle too many for Gomez, and he gets sent off second yellow instead of a straight red, which it probably should have been. And both teams were left with 10 men. And it would be Calafiori who stepped up, was a pivotal move, and he was the one that would get the winning goal. A lot of patient play from the wings found itself into the middle of the pitch. Calafiori takes a beautiful shot. How he finds that angle, I'm not sure, but two very important goals this season for him. One against Man City, one against Wolves when we're 10 men down. You got to give it to him, 22 years of age. I have criticised him in the past and the signing to a degree. He hasn't been fit for majority of the season. When he has played, he's played really well going forward, less so from a defensive standpoint, but he has the profile of what you want. Big, strong, physical, fast, technical ability for days, but can he deliver? Can he stay fit? Is he the person that we need in that position? For me, it almost reminds me of another DM. And he's got a really interesting profile. And for him to pop up in that position, have the composure to finish, shows his quality. And it, out of all the signings this summer, if I'm being honest with you, he's the one that stands out the most in terms of potential. He has the most amount of potential, and he proves it again. So hats off to him and being in the right position going forward. I don't think you see a Lewis-Skelly if he was on that pitch and we were down to 10 men in that position. It's just a different profile, and I spoke about it previously. Calafiori is the one that's going to go forward. He's going to create. He's going to, pull something out of the bag. Lewis-Skelly is the more safer hands, and Calafiori showed what his value can be to a team like this who needs any little spark that they can get. Other players I want to call out, Rice and Partey held down the midfield, really strong performance, especially when we went down to 10 men. Kai Havertz, unfortunately, wasn't the performance that we needed in terms of big chances being taken. He had a number of chances in and around the box. When you're that close in, the expectation is that you would score or create something. I think if we took out his expected goal, 0.52, I think looking at those chances, you would normally want Kai Havertz to score. I won't criticise him too much because he has been scoring as of recently, and so let's see how he will continue to do so. Martinelli, Trossard, didn't see too much from them today. Trossard was the better one, has been a little bit of a spark for us. Again, back four was solid. Timber shows his quality day in and day out. I do actually want to see Ben White come back. I think what he offers creatively from that right hand side is a lot more than Timber from what I've seen so far. Gabriel Saliba was solid, and so was Raya. Pulled out a number of saves which were very, very important for Arsenal as well. I am also going to talk about the captain for Arsenal who was missing, Odegaard. We will wait to see what the injury was and what exactly happened. However, it's worrying to see him missing, Saka missing. I think we've already spoken about what Arsenal needs to do in the transfer window. If not, I'm going to cover that in a video because I've been disappointed this transfer window, and I'm trying not to be, the illogical fan that we sometimes can be, but it's worrying, very, very worrying that we're this far into the January transfer window and Arsenal haven't signed anybody, and it doesn't seem like they know exactly who they want to sign and who's available for them in this window. We will take a quick look at the table. Liverpool also won in their game today, so Arsenal still have the same gap that they did have previously. 6-point gap with a game in hand for Liverpool, which could extend to 9. very strong and healthy gap for them. Nottingham Forest did lose an absolutely brutal loss to Bournemouth, who are showing their quality, and I would love for them to get European football. Chelsea did lose to Man City. Man City is starting to get on a bit of a run of form, and Arsenal will be playing them next. That should be very, very interesting. Newcastle also picked up points against Southampton. Chelsea we already spoke about. Bournemouth we spoke about. Aston Villa are playing, I believe, tomorrow against West Ham. And Brighton lost to Everton as well. So that's covering the majority of the top half of the table. Guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe and comment. I want to see who your player of the match was today. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.